Luxonaires, welcome back to the channel that turns financial sheep into financial wolves. If you're new here, I'm about to save you from making the biggest wealth-destroying mistakes that keep 99% of people broke forever. Today we're ranking debt-free assets from absolute trash to legendary god tier, and I'm about to expose the lies that real estate gurus have been selling you. But first, smash that subscribe button because we're about to destroy some sacred cows, and YouTube doesn't want you seeing this content. Ring that notification bell because this video could literally change your financial destiny. Here's what separates Luxona from every other financial channel. We don't care about your feelings. We care about facts. We don't care what's popular on Instagram. We care about what actually builds generational wealth. And today, we're exposing the mathematical truth about wealth building that the gurus don't want you to know. Ready? Let's dive into the rankings that will either make you rich or keep you poor. Your choice. F tier. The wealth destroyers. These investments are financial cancer, starting at rock bottom with collectibles and luxury items. Now listen carefully. Some luxury watches, particularly certain Rolex models, have been incredible investments. According to Bob's Watch's 15-year market analysis, average Rolex prices climbed over 550%, from roughly $2,000 in 2010 to $13,426 in 2025. Popular models like the Submariner saw 335% appreciation. But here's the reality check that financial experts like Dave Ramsey have been preaching for decades. This requires deep market knowledge, perfect timing, and massive capital. For 99% of people, that $50,000 watch is still a depreciating asset with zero cash flow, high insurance costs, and storage fees. Most collectibles are wealth vampires disguised as investments. No dividends, no compound interest, just pretty objects that drain your bank account. The fundamental rule that wealth experts understand: if it doesn't put money in your pocket every month, it's not an investment. It's an expense with a fancy name. D tier, the barely alive. These are wealth preservation at best. Savings accounts and CDS. Emergency funds are absolutely crucial. Every financial expert agrees on this. But with inflation running 3 to 4% annually, and these paying 1 to 2%, you're losing purchasing power every single day. Your money is shrinking faster than your motivation on Monday morning. Here's the mathematical brutality. Put $100,000 in a 2% savings account. After 1 year, you have $102,000. But with inflation at 3.5%, you need $103,500 to buy the same goods. You just lost $1,500 in real wealth while thinking you were being responsible. Banks are using your money to earn 8 to 12%, then throwing you 2% crumbs. It's legalized theft, but hey, at least your money's safe, right? Safe from growth, safe from wealth, safe from financial freedom. C tier, the mediocre middle. Not terrible, but not wealth builders. Gold and precious metals. The doomsday prepper's favorite. Gold averaged 2 to 3% annual returns over 50 years. That barely beats inflation. Warren Buffett destroyed this myth perfectly. If you took all the gold in the world, you could buy all US farmland plus 16 Exxon Mobils and still have change left over. Which would you rather own? The shiny rock or all that productive capacity? Gold doesn't innovate, doesn't grow, doesn't pay dividends. It just sits there looking pretty while inflation eats your lunch money. B tier, the solid performers. Now we're getting somewhere. Residential real estate. Time to trigger every real estate guru on YouTube. Real estate averaged 4 to 8% annual returns according to Federal Housing Finance Agency data. Sounds good until you subtract maintenance, taxes, insurance, vacancy rates, and your sanity dealing with tenants. Let me show you what real investors are experiencing, not some guru's fantasy numbers. Dr. James Dahl from White Coat Investor bought a property for $138,000. His final reality check? Quote, "We had a cumulative loss of close to $60,000 on a $138,000 property. We were cash flow negative every year, and that doesn't include the 18-month vacancy where we paid the mortgage with no rent coming in." His sale price? $114,500, a 17% loss before transaction costs. After realtor fees, repairs, and holding costs, his total loss approached 34%. Another investor shared, quote, "I thought I was getting passive income, but I learned I was a terrible landlord. Outsourcing everything chewed into my cash flow. The effort was not passive and not at all worth the small ROI achieved. Here's the dirty secret real estate gurus won't tell you. According to recent industry data, 90% of real estate investors have lost money on at least one investment. Redfin reported investors lost money on 13.5% of homes sold in March 2023. Smart wealth builders understand this principle. Real estate can build wealth, but only if you buy it right, manage it right, and can afford to hold it through the bad times. Most people can't do all three. A tier. The wealth accelerators, professional-grade investments, real estate investment trusts, REITs. This is how smart money gets real estate exposure. Commercial REITs averaged 8 to 12% annual returns over 20 years according to REIT data, with 4 to 6% dividend yields. You get professional management, diversification across property types, complete liquidity, and zero midnight tenant calls. Data center REITs crushed it during cloud computing growth. Healthcare REITs benefit from aging demographics. You're essentially owning slices of every major commercial property in America, managed by experts, tradable instantly. This is real estate investing for people with functioning brain cells. A plus tier, the absolute champions, the wealth-building legends, stock market index funds, the undisputed heavyweight champion of wealth building. The S&P 500 averaged 10 to 12% annually over 50 years. That's double what residential real estate delivers with zero maintenance headaches. But here's what makes this truly legendary. You're not betting on one property in one neighborhood. You're owning pieces of the 500 most profitable companies on Earth. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. Companies generating trillions in revenue and employing millions worldwide. Warren Buffett proved this conclusively with his famous $1 million bet. In 2007, he bet that a simple S&P 500 index fund would crush actively managed hedge funds over 10 years. The result? He demolished them. His point was devastating. Why pay 2% fees plus 20% of profits to underperform when you can buy the whole market for almost nothing? Here's the compound growth that creates millionaires. $10,000 invested in the S&P 500 30 years ago with reinvested dividends would be approximately $600,000 today. Try finding a rental property that delivered 60-fold returns. Let me destroy the real estate versus stocks debate with mathematics. If you invested $60,000, typical rental property down payment, in S&P 500 index funds averaging 11% annually, you'd have approximately $82,000 after 3 years. With real estate, you're dealing with negative cash flow, tenant drama, and market risk concentrated in one property. The $10,000 challenge makes this crystal clear. $10,000 in a diversified index portfolio historically becomes $81,000 over 20 years through compound growth. Over 30 years, $200,000, a 20-fold increase with zero effort. To match that with real estate, you'd need properties appreciating 8% annually while generating positive cash flow, and you'd need to continuously reinvest that cash flow. Mathematical reality. Very few investors achieve this consistently. Here's why index funds are pure financial genius. Tax efficiency, minimal taxable events until you sell. Complete liquidity, access your money in seconds. Professional management, corporate executives running your companies. Automatic diversification, 500 companies across every sector. And the best part? You can start with $100. The Luxona wealth hierarchy based on mathematical reality, not marketing hype. A plus tier. Index funds and diversified stock portfolios. Maximum returns, minimum effort, complete liquidity, automatic compound growth working 24/7. A tier. REITs for real estate exposure without landlord nightmares. Professional management, instant diversification, high dividend yields, complete liquidity. B tier. Direct real estate ownership. If you want to run a business disguised as investment, have significant capital, understand local markets deeply, and enjoy sacrificing liquidity and time for potentially higher returns. C tier. Precious metals for portfolio insurance against economic catastrophe, but terrible for wealth building. D tier. CDs and savings accounts for emergency funds only. Financial death for wealth building. F tier. Collectibles and luxury items. Wealth destroyers that appeal to ego over mathematics. Here's your Luxona action plan. Stop chasing shiny objects promoted by social media gurus. Focus on boring, profitable assets that compound automatically. The wealthy didn't get rich flipping houses or day trading crypto. They got rich by owning productive businesses through stock ownership and having the discipline to stay invested during market volatility. Financial legends like Dave Ramsey have proven this with millions of followers. Live on less than you make. Avoid debt like the plague. Invest consistently in growth stock mutual funds, and time will make you wealthy. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but it's mathematically guaranteed to work. Your homework assignment, but only after you've eliminated all debt except your house. First, build that emergency fund. Then, attack every credit card, student loan, and car payment until you're completely debt-free. Only then should you open a brokerage account and set up automatic investing in low-cost index funds. You cannot build wealth while debt is bleeding you dry. Every dollar going to credit card payments is a dollar that can't compound in your favor. This is the foundation that every millionaire understands. Debt-free first, then wealth building. Wealth building is simple, but it's not easy. It requires discipline, patience, and the wisdom to ignore the noise. The Luxona mantra: build wealth that works while you sleep, not wealth that keeps you awake managing problems. Own assets that compound automatically, require zero management, and give you complete freedom to live your life. This is Luxona, where we turn financial facts into financial freedom. If this video opened your eyes to the mathematical reality of wealth building, smash that like button and subscribe for more truth bombs. Share this with anyone trapped in the real estate guru fantasy. You might save them from financial disaster. Drop a comment below. Are you team index funds or team real estate? Let's debate with data, not emotions. Remember, at Luxona we don't follow crowds, we follow mathematics. The numbers never lie, but financial influencers often do. See you in the next video, future millionaire. Until then, keep building wealth the boring, profitable way.